Yes.
Yeah. So next couple of minutes, we'll be having more than 120 minutes in front of us, and we are just uh, I'm just going to give you an overview of what exactly which is happening in our generative AI, especially about for each and everything we are adhering, so called as our chat GPT and all those kind of things. Okay, what is this chat GPT is all about? Can anyone commend me? What do you think and what do you know about a chat GPT is? Basically, everyone we know about chat GPT and all these kind of things, because we, the faculty fraternity, we are using, and as well as the students are more using on this particular so-called as a technology of our artificial intelligence. And what exactly it all about? Okay, that's great. Text generation. Rather than text generation, we can say that it is a bot program. Okay, it's a kind of a chat bot, and it will brings us or bring us all about the queries what we are giving, and we just we just expecting some sort of a query. Exactly said Ms. Hamletha, and that's a fantastic answer you made. So called as this is a kind of a bot or bot program of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence program. So again, a question in front of me arising, what exactly the intelligence and artificial intelligence. So what we all know about an intelligence? Intelligence, that means humans, when by birth we are getting inherently certain things. That means we are not getting the intelligence by birth, but we are acquiring those intelligence, which is the mechanism what we are hailing it from by birth from our mother and father, so-called as a lot of mechanism, that is biomechanism, involving in each and every person. It is an it is a organized kind of things, which is there in a baby to the adulthood, the childhood, adulthood, etc. Okay, so what exactly the intelligence? Intelligence is nothing but some sort of a acquired knowledge about certain artifacts. So here in this case, in this era, everyone are talking about. So we can say that a talk of the town, or talk of the city, talk of the state, talk of the nation. Everywhere we can say that the talk related to the artificial intelligence, how to create that artificial intelligence, how to make things through artificial intelligence. And somebody is saying that artificial intelligence will create a new world. So, it is going to conquer the world. All these kind of things are the thought process. Even if a person who is holding a petty shop, he or she is also know about artificial intelligence. But anything, do you want to clarify anything? Okay, fine. So in the case of our artificial intelligence, what is the thing which is happening in this era in the universe, all the in all the continents, all the countries, all the states, all the district, all the panchayat, everywhere they are talking about. The people are talking about or conversating about artificial intelligence in this era, because artificial intelligence is going to help or rule etc. That is going to happen in the future era. That's what the talk, so-called as the artificial intelligence, is going to conquer the world, something like that. So here we want to have a clear-cut idea about a notion about what exactly this artificial intelligence is all about, and one part of that particular thing is a generative AI, and another part is of in inside that generative part, another part, it's a sub part of that particular gen AI or generative AI is so-called as our prompt engineering. So we are talking about a single or a simple part of our artificial intelligence as of now. So how we are acquiring the intelligence? That means we are acquiring the intelligence from the knowledge. During the childhood, we are acquiring the knowledge about many things, for we are finding the answers for many what, when, where, all these kind of things were there now, and how it is there, and all these questions are answered to us by acquiring the knowledge. In the school days, we might have learned lot many other things related to this particular thing. That means acquired a knowledge on that particular thing and gathered somewhere else. And we do have certain do's and don'ts, and that do's and don'ts are something so called as the knowledge acquired by an individual. Okay, so in that case, we can say that this particular knowledge acquisition is a process of creation of the intelligence. Some may grab this knowledge very fast, and some may take a certain time to acquire this particular knowledge. That is the differences what we will be saying about our IQ, EQ, SQ, and all these kind of things, because depending on the quotient of the intelligence, we are learning the things very fastly, and grabbing the things, and doing the things, and we are storing somewhere else in the memory, and we are acting and reacting upon those kind of situation. So situation to situation, we are our action will be different with respect to this kind of artificial. That means intelligently quotient member who's having the IQ. IQ is having over and average and below, something like that. So artificially, so that is the case of our biological intelligence. So in the case of our artificial intelligence, we are mimicking the actual intelligence acquired by a person or an individual, and which is stored somewhere else, so-called as a knowledge base. And that knowledge base, from that knowledge base, the acquired knowledge is acting upon the situation. Okay, and for that, lot many other things we are doing, and this can be divided up into two major parts for this kind of acquisition of the intelligent part. And one part is so-called as the acquisition part. We can say that everyone might be saying something about the machine learning process. Machine learning process is something so-called as it's a kind of a complex kind of phenomenon, and that through that phenomenon we that means we can grab the knowledge and do certain exercises, and grab the knowledge and create the knowledge base. And that's the first part we are doing with various other tools what we are having. With respect to that, it is creating that particular knowledge and storing these data, and that data is going to be our so-called as our knowledge base. Okay, and that knowledge-based creation or the tools pertaining to that particular aspect is something so-called as our machine learning part. And another part, another part which is so-called as we are physically touching, feeling all these kind of things, or we are understanding certain phenomenal ideology through the images, videos, all these kind of things are there, and that part is something so-called as or we are feeling with something, or we are cross-referencing with respect to the images what we are having, and all those kind of things which is coming under the perspective of our deep learning. Okay, altogether, when we are putting together this machine learning, that is ML, and deep learning DL together with, we can say that which is equal to artificial intelligence, the creation of that particular thing. Because we are creating the textual the knowledge base, and we are creating the image kind of knowledge base, and putting together these two, and we can say that it is a perfect intelligence, and that is so called as our artificial intelligence, which is off. Okay, as of now, we are having these two division in that particular thing, and when we are putting these two together, that is ML and DL together, we can say that it is an artificial intelligence. And when you compare with any kind of a biological idea, also that is an inherent intelligence. That is also where the in that case also which is happening in this kind of phenomena, like we are understanding certain things, we are feeling certain things, and which create an intelligence over there, and that is a biological intelligence. It is that the intelligence which is mimicking the or artificially mimicking that biological intelligence termed as our artificial intelligence. Okay, why do we require this kind of artificial intelligence, various kind of fields of our study, and fields of research, and fields of action? Everywhere the people are talking, the researchers are talking, scientists are talking, or economists are talking about this particular artificial intelligence, because of that artificially created artifacts are going to govern on certain phenomenon or phenomenal change or certain predictions, all these kind of things, how it will, or what it will happen, or when it will happen. All these kind of predictions are maybe it may correct, or maybe it may not be correct, but this kind of prediction might be happening the same way the humans we did so-called as we can blindly say that we might be, that is including me, we will be doing certain so-called certain things so-called as gossiping. Maybe it is a right fact, or maybe it is not a it might not be a factual information, but we may gossip, and that is so-called as a predictions. And these kind of prediction, it may hit somewhere else, but maybe it may hit somewhere else, or it may vanish in the so this sort of things are something so-called as our artificial intelligence artifacts. All right, and here in this case, I told you about we are going to something. We are going to discuss about this the facts about our generative AI, and that in that we are just taking a simple phenomena, or a simple tool, or a simple structure. We can say that it's a prompt engineering. Okay, so you might have you are using these sort of chatbots or for various other things what is happening in our life. Fine, and in this case, in this world, or in our life, we are that means amongst us, we are very few without using at least Google for certain things. certain things. Say, suppose somebody is ill with certain other malfunctioning in our biological, so called as our in our life, or in our life, if you are hit with certain diseases, but certain kind of symptoms, it is happening in our body. So what we will do is, we'll just Google these kind of symptoms, what exactly, to know what exactly it is. We might be doing all these kind of things, right? And so the Google will be giving us all possible information about those symptoms. It might be this, it might be that, it may happen, or it can be like this. All these kind of things are some of the symptoms pertaining to this particular ailment or illness. Okay, so we might have, or suppose in some instance, some doctors are prescribing certain medicine, and what we'll do is, we'll take that particular prescription, and we write about what is the chemical composition of that particular medicine, and we might be knowing about for what is the purpose of using of that particular medicine. And what we'll do is, informally, 2 or 3 years back, we might be Googling it. And nowadays, what we are doing is, we are asking through this chatbot about what exactly this particular thing is all about, and for what purpose, and what is its medical composition, and what is the side effects, and will it be cured. All these kind of things will be inquired through our these sort of our generative AI tools. Okay, and funniest thing is about, I think you might have heard about some of uh, uh, the mobile bots, like mobile assistants. We can say that it is an assistant. Say in our iOS, we do have our Siri tool, and we'll be asking through that Siri about what is the climate condition of today. The funniest thing is, when there is a heavy rain in our Kerala, the students used to inquire through Siri about what is the intensity of the rain that may happen in another couple of hours. So will that be a holiday for us? All these kind of things are happening through our bots. How these kind of information are gathering. So even if it is the funniest thing for our students and all, or even if we might be asking Siri about will it be a holiday because of this kind of bad weather and all. Okay, so how this Siri kind of bots? This is one of the bot what we are having, and how these bots are gathering all this kind of information. That's a major question in front of us. Have you thought about how it is gathering the information? Okay, and for that, we must have to know about an LLM kind of thing, large language model, and wherein all these kind of things, all these combinations, the grammatical combinations and language combinations might be there. And with respect to that, whatever the structure of the query and how we are querying the language, this LLM, large language model, will react on that particular situation, and it will be rerouting to the knowledge base what it is having, and that knowledge base will gather all the information and giving us all this kind of information about what a simple person is queried with, and the process is very, very tedious with respect to this particular thing. Even if when a person asks for a simple query, and this particular query is answered through this kind of a process. So one of the major thing, or one of the fact, what I'm going to introduce to you is about LLM, that means large language model. And through large language model, lot many other facts will be stored over there in the with respect to the physical aspect and logical aspects are there. And through these uh, facts, it will be answered with the queries of a simple person or a student who is asking for a leave for that particular thing is answered through this complex process. It's a background process what we are having, and this LLM will be hitting on various other doors, and that door, in turn, it will be giving them certain answers with respect to that. That LLM will be hitting on the doors of various other knowledge base with respect to the as many querying model what we are having. With respect to that only, it will be hitting and getting that particular answers for the simple users. And with respect to that only, the bots are answered with these kind of queries. Hope you getting me those kind of things. Okay, so these are all some of the some of the application, or a simple application what we are having with respect to our LLM model, and with respect to the bot model. And here is a fact that how these LLM models are hitting on various other knowledge base and getting the details from those knowledge base what they created with respect to various other scenario and all. I'm not going in depth of how these kind of things are created, and how it will take long time to demonstrate and all these kind of things, because I'll be giving you an overview of what this story is. Okay, and in depth, we'll have that means it will take each scenario. It will take long time to understand and go in depth of that particular thing. It is complex as like our neural networks. That means in our body we'll be having lakhs and lakhs neurons are there, and with respect to those communication impulses which is passing through each and every neuron, it is miraculous kind of things, and it is that much complex thing what we are having. And it will be how the communications and impulses are transferring. All these kind of things are very pretty good, pretty complex. And that means we, the engineers and scientists, are studying on one neuron, and how the communications are going, and how the knowledge base is storing, and how the image processing will be get it done, how the physical entities are judged and evaluated. All these kind of things are very complex, and with respect to that, we'll be getting the answers. But the tools what we are using with along with this kind of terminology, it will gives us, those tools will gives us the answers for the queries what we had raised. And the queries will be passed, and queries will be hitting, and queries will be answered through this kind of process. Okay, hope you are getting the idea. Okay, even you will be getting an idea of what I mean to say to you is. Okay, and that is about the bot all about. So these programs will brings us this kind of information. Okay, and here is some points about the prompt engineering. And the prompt engineering basically, I told you about it is a sub part of our so-called as our the artificial intelligence, then in bot, and one part of that bot lies in our prompt engineering. What exactly the prompt is? What we know about, what we mean about, or what we all know about the prompting. Prompting, that means will be that means prompting in the class, or we'll be just giving. That means when your master or your lecturer or professor is inside the class, seriously they are discussing with inside the class, you might be seeing certain fellows sitting in middle of the class, and they will be conversating it each other without knowing what exactly which is happening, and just prompting with each other, and those kind of things. That is nothing but it's a kind of a bilateral communication which is going on in between that students. Okay, and through prompts. So they will be asking the queries, and with respect to that query, the other guy is answering, and again putting much more queries on that particular answer, and through these prompts they will be finding the answers for the queries. Simple example, I'm just citing it. It's an analogy. Okay, like what in our chat GPTs or generative AIs, that means through our Gen AI, we are asking certain queries, and these queries will be prompted with, and it will be transferring to certain other tools, and that tools will answer for the queries by hitting on various other knowledge base, and getting the answer for these kind of prompt, and the prompt in turn it will be giving an answer for Gen AIs. And how these prompts are working with respect to, these prompts are working through our LLMs. That means a lot of that means LLM is there, and through that LLM, it will be transferring these conditions, and the conditions such as what, when, where, all these, how, all these kind of things are there, and with respect to that, it will be transferring and hitting with respect to various other situation which is stored over there, and these LLM through the grammatical structure or language structure, they will be answered for this particular query, both in the case of our text and as well as the videos or images what they are passing. This is what is happening. So my thought process about this particular prompt engineering, my thought process, just I'm sharing. First of all, I'm telling you about I'm not the last man to say about all these kind of things, because through my observations only, I just create all these kind of ideas, and all the observations may not be the correct. Okay, as I said, I'm not so that through the observations and deep study only, I made all these kind of inferences. These inferences might not be correct at all point of time. Might have certain variation. Okay, and these variation might be happening because of the knowledge base what I created, and like what through the Gen AI system, it might have created this kind of knowledge base, and through the structure of the query, where this is passing, and with respect to that model, and that model will be understanding through the language model through which it will be passing and hitting on various other location, and with respect to that only it will be answered. Okay, I still remember that means my students are often using this ChatGPT for their various other purposes. Even they want to write an assignment, they'll be simply they'll be simply like what we how we Google. They will use certain phrases and all these kind of things through ChatGPT or any other Gen AI tool, and they will be getting all the textual information, image, videos, and all sort of information pertaining to that particular phrases and those kind of conversations they'll be getting. Okay, so after a while only I came to understand that oh, this is the way by which these guys are doing their exercises and all. Then for my curiosity I started to use this particular thing like what I saw my student, because the inference factor, what I learn from and learn through my students only. So that is the inference I got it, and I started to use this particular tool for various other aspects of my daily routine or my studies or my preparations, all these kind of things. To my surprise, what had happened is instead of using this particular Google as my tool, that means through Google queries, what I'm getting all this kind of information about. To my surprise, I'm using, and I started to use this Gen AI, and I may be getting many other notes or lectures or through this particular this Gen AI tools than the Google might be collecting and giving to me. That is my starting point to use all these kind of things. Then I started to use this particular tool, and then I started to explore how it is happening and what is the basic idea behind it. It is a basic thing behind Keralite and Malayali. They'll do, because once we got certain things, we started to use these kind of things at first, and the second thing what we'll do is we used to dissect that particular thing part by part, and after dissection we used to make certain other surgeries and all these kind of ads and deletes and all these kind of things we'll be doing. And after making all these kind of things, we will reassemble that particular thing, and we'll be putting into a new jar of old thing, and we will recreate that particular thing as that thing. So since a person do want to recreate the same thing with the same principle of what the other part might have done, the recreator must have a deep knowledge on this particular aspects on them. He or she might have learned 200 or 300 times than, or 200 or 300 times better than the oldest one. Then only they might have recreating this particular thing with some other new technological innovations in that particular thing with respect to this. Okay, that is with respect to my observation, which I am telling. Okay, maybe you might have experienced all these kind of things. Like what I started to use this particular Gen AI tool, that is ChatGPT and something like that, or any GPT. I used to learn about these kind of things are having two parts. Like what us in our human being also. In our human being also, we are having two major thought process, or we may be having two major kind of activities in our life. Basically we can say that one activity what we are having is a logical thing, a logical activity. Another thing is our calculative thing, or we can say that it is a mathematical part kind of thing. So you might be knowing that is arithmetic, and arithmetic is something so called as a, it is not a logical one. Through arithmetic kind of thing, we can feel, touch physically the things, because there is no other ambiguity in that particular thing. Okay, once decided, it is that, no other changes. That means if you are saying that 1 plus 1 is not 0 or 2, it is 2, it is not 3, it is 2 only. When we do this particular arithmetic operation, 1 plus 1 is not 0 or 3. It is only 2 will be getting. That is the physical nature of that particular thing we can feel. So like what in all other activities what we are having in as in the case of our human being or in the case of our computation. So that is why in our computers or in our computation we do have two major processes what we are having as arithmetic process and a logical process. Like what in this case also, in this case of our thought process also, that means in the intelligent process also we are having this kind of major process or no major two parts, so called as our arithmetic process and logical part. So what I mean to say is in the case of our GPT, or in the case of our Gen AI also, we'll be having this particular two parts we are having. One is our logical part, and another one is physical part. Physical part lies with respect to various other tools and expositions, like how it can be used and where it can be used, what all tools through which we'll be getting all these kind of things, get it answered, all these kind of things are considered to be our tools which is using or used for this particular process. So today, what I mean to say about this particular prompt engineering is all about. Prompt engineering is all about working with respect to the LLMs. That's what that's a clear-cut idea which I can give it to you, and how it is working with respect to that is with respect to our with respect to the logical reasoning and with respect to the physical kind of things. So the logic behind this particular thing, or logic behind this particular prompt engineering lies in various other aspects. And in the case of our the physical part of is also lies in with various other kind of scenario. So that's what the major discussion of today. It's a peripheral discussion only. With this time, we can only discuss about all these kind of things. Hope you are getting my idea. The story is clear to you. It's a kind of a story only. I'm not going in depth. Whatever topics which I'm delivering to my students, I'll be saying that imagine that it is a story. You just listen like somebody is saying a story, and we'll listen to that. Like whatever the complex topics it might be, will be that means we will be delivering something like telling a story to somebody else. So like this is also a story of our prompt engineering, and till now I had given certain background stories about that particular generations. This is generating this particular prompt engineering. And in the case of our prompt engineering, we saw that it is working along with our Gen AI, and in this story we'll be having various other facts about so-called as our prompt engineering kind of things. Am I visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So when we are talking about a prompt engineering, uh, uh, the definition says that. So it's everything, every fact or everything which it will be having its own definition. Okay, so in a story, you take a story, and in a story, various other uh, uh, the involved parties are there, like what as actors, and every actors do have their own descriptions and definitions. Like what in our Gen AI, one part is of inner part of that particular thing lies in this particular so-called as our prompt engineering. And so, what is this prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is nothing but it is working along with our LLM. That means, and it will be guiding to getting an answer through Gen AI. Okay, through our LLM, it will be guiding and getting the answer for the query made by the user, and it will be brings in or brings an answer for our query, and it's a kind of a knowledge creation, and that is called as our prompt engineering is. Okay, so in the case of our prompt engineering, so various other tools or various other expositions using that particular thing might be a chat GPT or DAL-E or the tools related to that particular thing will gives us all these kind of things. While we are prompting certain things, it will be hitting on the knowledge base through the LLM model, that is large language model, which is created, and it is having certain scenarios, certain principles, certain aspects, and through that it will be going and getting the things from those hitting on the doors of that particular thing and getting the answer for our queries. Okay, and the major steps involving in that particular prompt engineering is as follows. And the first step is so suppose a query is something like say nowadays the teachers like you might have experienced the things because the first time uh, I got a official letter written by my worst student in my class. I cannot say that it is all students are good to me, so I cannot say that to say like that. Anyway, for an analogy, I'm telling you, the thing is, one fellow is not that much at par with that particular thing. So one fine day, he is coming with a letter showing such a kind of a diplomatic words, such a kind of a high level English, and all these kind of things are there in a simple so-called as a letter asking for a permission for some other thing. So I wondered how he might have written this particular thing. Later on, I understood that everyone are using these kind of techniques of Gen AI, and they are simply writing the phrase, write a letter to the head of the department or principal asking for the permission of this particular thing. So when we give this particular query through that chat GPT or any other Gen AI tool, it will be giving us various other models. Do you want this first model? Do you want this model to be given to your counterpart, that is your teacher or class teacher or head of the department or principal or something like that? The system itself is giving us what according to our intention it might be giving, with a wonderful English language and diplomatic constructs and all these kind of things were there in this kind of things. How it might have get it done. The difference is we might have Googled through our Google. That means google.com, and when I asked to write a letter to my head of the department asking for permission to get an early going kind of thing, so it will be giving us a template only, so that we need to fill up all this kind of things. But here in this case, what it will do is it will be giving us all the informative things, including every structure, every language, and all this grammatical construct, whatever the requirement what we are having to pass on, everything will be giving us in various other models. So for the first model, second model, third model, something like whichever it can be taken by the query made person. So the first thing what we do is what a person is doing is the defining the things. So what is the requirement? Okay, and as per the requirement, we are inputting the facts. So this might be the things. This might be the our requirement. So first of all, it will be prompted with a lot of pleasing sentences. Hope you are with good health and all these kind of things. I was wondering what this guy is written over there. Then only I came to know that he need a permission to go early. So for that, full-scale paper. In a full-scale paper, he wrote a full, say, 50 or 60 word letter to me. That's what my wonder is. How he might have done, or how they are doing all these kind of things. Because this is the thing. Because through a model with the grammatical construct and with the language construct, with all these kind of physical artifacts and everything, they might have stored somewhere else as a knowledge base. And when something is defined and according to the input, they will be created and detailing with respect to that particular thing, those kind of constructs, and giving back to the required the required persons, or whoever made this particular queries. That is the major process involving in this kind of prompt engineering. The fact which is I made the analogy with respect to my student was something like writing few sentences for an answers. That means when I to our with respect to all this kind of the modular test or series test, or through our university examination. So the university examination, most of the universities are giving a bunch of paper. Maybe the 40 or 60 papers will be there in that bunch, and they'll not give any more additional sheet, and within that particular limit they might have to complete writing that particular thing. So these guys will be writing few sentences in that particular 40 or 60 pile of sheets, and they'll be giving to us after answering. And that means I came to know that I understood that they are not that much capable of writing these kind of things. They're not having, even though they are not having the capacity to write a single page itself. Instead, one fine day he is coming with this kind of letter. That was the wonder which I was having. So that is why I mentioned. So what he got, or how he got us, he used this particular thing to write a letter to head of the department asking for a permission to go early. So uh, their goal is set. It was very much defined and identified with all these kind of things. And with respect to that, he defined and queried, and towards that particular query, various other creation he got, and amongst one he took and picked from that particular thing and given to me as his request, that student's request. Okay, and so that is the major process involved in that particular thing. Hope you get me. All right. So these are all the major steps involved in our prompt engineering, wherein our this kind of Gen AI is working. Okay. So I told you for every aspect, it do have two major things. One is our logical part and physical part. So physical parts lies with respect to the various the tools involving that particular kind of artifacts, and how it might be built in with all these kind of things are there with respect to the physical part. In the case of our logical part, it comprises with the so-called as its creation. How can it be created with? What are all the terms it can be used with? What are all the meanings it need to create it with? The syntactical and semantical structures. All these things involved in this kind of logical foundation. So in here, it also comprises with that particular thing, the creation of pragmatics, creation of semantics, and that is a syntactical structure for this our model. Okay, and the major algorithms. So after creating all these kind of things, major algorithms used in that particular thing, maybe maybe various algorithms using in our creation of a logical structure. That is, you might have heard about these kind of gradient descent-based algorithm, Bayesian algorithm, for kind of a optimization. All right, and basically, the gradient algorithm is basically used for fine-tuning the LLMs, and whereas the parameters, minimizing the complexity, all these kind of things are happening in the case of our gradient algorithm. And the case of our Bayesian principle or Bayesian optimization, what exactly the Bayesian means. Bayesian system, you might have learned in your mathematics about the interpolations and all. And for that purpose, that means again and again we are doing, or we might be saying that about the fine-tuning system, that is all about our Bayesian system, and which is used to have the fine automation of a new system, and we will be fine-tuning a system to automate, and this is something so-called as a process of optimization, which is also having in the case of our LLMs. And this is one of the other logical kind of things. And another thing is another thing for defining all these things are logical definition of our logically how to define that particular thing, and for that purpose only we need to have that optimization. And this is another thing so called as a generic, by using a genetic algorithm, and we are using the process of our the structure of our transformers we are using in order to make some sort of a effectiveness. That means how effectively After having the optimization, how effectively it can be conversated to the querying party, and it will be giving us all these kind of things, knowledge about what that particular fellow is asked for, and with respect to that, this answers are made with. And adversarial prompt learning, that means for every white part, the other part is our black part will be there, and we must have to know, not only we need to know about the white part of that particular thing, the better part of that particular, we must have to know the converse part of that particular thing, and we need to combine together how it might be, how it is happening. All these things were our concern, and with respect to that concern only, these kind of algorithms, that means to step by step interactions to creation of these kind of knowledge, and not imparting the solution for the querying party. And these are all various algorithm where it is having. And with respect to the creation, after creating this particular thing through various other algorithms, that means we optimized it, we created it, and we do have a study, and after that we'll be giving us a solution through the prompting technique. And various other prompting technique, it is shown here, and zero shot prompting, and a few shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, role of specific prompting, and adversarial prompting. And what is all about? That means zero shot prompting is something like artificially created knowledge. From that, asked to create a solution for that, and that is so-called as our zero shot prompting. That means without much knowledge, or without much so-called as complications, we are taking. That means according to this is the solution, something like that, which is so-called as a zero shot prompting. And another one is a few shot prompt. That means it will be guiding through various other analogies. So, for example, in the case of a zero shot prompt, what is queried for, accordingly it will be answering. So might be a person with a low IQ might not be understanding what exactly the answers is. And for that, another thing is, with respect to the analogies, it will be giving us with respect to the situation, with respect to the examples, with respect to the analogy, it might be answering. That is so-called as few shot prompting. And chain of thought prompting is like what is a algorithm. Algorithm is nothing but step by step solution to a problem, right? And that is called as our chain of thought processing. That means for this particular process, these are all the steps involved in this finding the solution, or by the first step is something like this, second step is something like this, third step is something like this, and finally you will be arriving at this particular solution. And that is called as chain thought prompting. And another process is role specific prompting. That means I told you while we are reading a story or watching a movie, the actors are defined with the actions of actors are clearly mentioned with in the so-called as a story written by or screenplay written by, or for each in the screenplay, all the actors are defined with each roles. So they will be doing all these roles, and finally it will be coming as a good play, something like that. Here, with respect to the LLM, and it will be collecting all sort of information, and this information is clearly mentioning with respect to the querying person, and this is what the exactly it is doing, and that is called as role specific prompting. Another one is adversarial prompting. As I mentioned, for getting it more clear for everyone, to make it as more robust. That means it will be studying about the LLM is giving us all sort of information with white and black sides. Okay, both its positive and negatives, and it will be finally giving us all the information about these kind of things. That is a prompting technique. And with respect to the logical kind of creation, what is the falsies and avoidance it is required. Okay, so the issues might be happening over there. That means in the case of our the prompts, we cannot say that all the prompts might be correct. All the prompts might be correct. So there may happen those kind of ambiguousness. Okay, and in some prompts, it might have a lot of complexities, so called as overloading. Okay, overloading might be happening. So it might be too large, it might be too complex to understand. All these kind of things might be happening. And this is one of the issue. And ambiguity, that means we will not be getting a correct solution. So still we will be ambiguous, yes or no, maybe or may not be. All these kind of things will be there in our mind. So that whether we need to provide the solution through this particular thing. And I can say you with my experience, I can say you, even if you are getting all these kind of things, and even the AI is the last name in the world, everyone are saying, and I'll be saying to you, this is also not a good solution, 100% foolproof solution. It might be overridden by some other things. Okay, so don't rely on this particular thing. So whatever we are getting, physically feel and physically test it with, then only we can say that even about 98% foolproof. Still a chance of 2% is there. Okay, and ambiguity, that means even if we are not getting 50% of chance, it is. So that is called as ambiguity, and that is a logical issue. And overloading, that means too many. That means many complex tasks might be coming for a prompt, and which is considered to be overloading one. And assumption bias will be there, and implied answer. Like one query when I am asking you about who is having the higher capacity, you or me? We cannot answer for that question, or we cannot answer for that query. Lot many other facts, you are superior than me. In certain facts, might be I may be superior. Then that for that kind of things only I can we can tell, and we can answer for that. That is called as a assumption bias. We cannot get a perfect and particular answer for these kind of prompts, and which is considered to be this particular assumption bias. And these are all kind of falsies. That means we can say that it is some kind of a so-called as may or may not, those kind of things there. And the various strategies to avoid falsies. One is for using the natural language, so that we'll be getting to certain extent we'll be getting certain answers for that. And with respect to some kind of an objective, or only with one objective or a single objective, work on that particular thing, and might be we can avoid this sort of things. Okay. Okay. Then when these kind of assumptions will be coming, and please do avoid or some kind of ambiguous assumptions. Uh, if it is possible, verify to to large extent and do the things. Okay, so these are all the various steps to create the prompts. One is, as mentioned earlier, define it. Then, as per the context, you do certain assumptions. Then, with respect to the black and white technology, I just say, adversely, you think it out and do that and test and refine it. All these things are some of the ways with which we can create. Just a minute, I'll be coming back. Uh, Sorry for interrupting. One, just a minute, I'll be. Okay, sorry for disruption. And am I audible now? I'm audible to you, no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, yeah. It's also the slides also visible to you, no? Okay. So that is how we can create the effective prompts. Okay. Then how to evaluating from LLM model through the relevance of the query with respect to that, and accuracy. Accuracy, that means we are expecting certain things, and with respect to that, whether it is coming or not, and that is the thing through which we can answer with, and completeness and consistency. It must be able to check, and any biasing is happening, and biasing you will be knowing, moving to a certain people, certain community, certain only some certain groups, all these kind of things are biased with, and those kind of things we must have to check, and this is the way with which we can evaluate through LLM. So, in the case of our iterative prompt design, and the iterative prompt designing is something so called as that means either by Bayesian model or any sort of recurrence relationship model we can create, and the steps included are first of all initiating the test in that particular thing, and initiating the test, and doing certain calculations, and whether the calculated results are coming in the way of our expected way, or any deviation it is coming, and that is called as evaluating its output, and we will be feedbacking or adjusting its result. All these kind of things are testing with. So mainly in this case, we can say that the Gen AI model with relates to our artificial ANN model or CNN model, all these kind of things will be coming over there. And because of that reason, when it is happening, any kind of a recurrent relationship, we cannot say recurrent relations. So RNN and all these kind of things you might have heard about, and this will lead to so when these kind of models are coming, you cannot have a feedbacking system. It is involving only feed forwarding is involved with, and for that we can adjust with its weights, and with respect to that weight we can adjust the neurons, and finally we'll be getting a fine-tuned model, and that is how we can do it in our iterative model, and in the case of our Gen AI kind of things. Okay, all these things are very, it's another story. We can say that with respect to the neural networks and how to create this artificial neurons and neural networks, and convolutional neural networks, and all these things, where it is used, what is its effectiveness, and how can it be judged with respect to this Gen AI, and that means I told you Gen AI comprises with both the things, that is text part and an image part, and it will be bringing together. That means if I ask to draw a design of a particular building which is having these are my assumptions with respect to that, it will be drawing to me that plan, elevation, everything. Okay, within a fraction of within minutes, I'll be getting that particular thing. How it is happening, because it will be combining with all these kind of things, these facts together with. Okay, so this is the way with which iterative prompt design might be doing so that initialize, then evaluate and adjust according to our own concern. Okay, so these are all the ways with which we can do our interactive one. Then there's a hierarchy of prompts as nothing but it is having a primary prompt, and it do have sub prompts. Primary prompt is the first level prompt what we are things like primary prompt. For one of the example I mentioned, it is explain Newton's law of motion. So it is crystal clear that when somebody is asking you about blindly about hey, you are an engineer, so that can you tell me what is the Newton's law of motion? At that particular moment, I may not be say that particular, so that I can use my gadget, and I'll prompt the Newton's law of motion, and instantly I'll be getting all those kind of things. And this is kind of a primary prompt kind of things, and some sub prompts will be there. Say for an example, I need to find out the third largest element of the primary numbers. Okay, and for that I need to get what are the primary numbers involved, and I need to sequentially order it, and I need to pick the third or second largest prime number on, I mean, from that list. So this is a kind of a sub prompts or subdivision of that particular thing what we are having, and this is so called as the hierarchy. The example is something like that, but hierarchically we are dividing the prompts accordingly, and with respect to that, with less complexity, we it is prompting to the queried person. Okay. Then it do have its own dependency managements. One dependent on another, and all these things are coming in the case of our LLM, and where this LLM holds this kind of information, and which uses all these kind of things. Okay, and another thing is the prompting is there. The prompting is get it done, And another thing is how the errors are handling. Errors are nothing but exceptionally doing the things by the user. Some sort of an exceptions. Exceptions are considered to be the errors. Okay. So errors, as such, we can say that it is a created one. But we, in the case of our logical thoughts, we cannot say that it is a created thing. It is an exception which is created by the users. So that is why I am using a word instead of error, it is exceptions. Okay, so how to handle that particular thing is things mentioned here. One thing is about the factual incorrectness in the responses. So maybe some kind of an ambiguity in the query might be happening, and which is considered some kind of an ambiguousness. The person who is querying certain things, asking certain things, there itself some sort of an ambiguousness is happening. So the system may not be understanding what exactly it is. It's a kind of an exception. So in order to handle that particular or tackle that situation, the previously I told certain things, iterate it and do certain kind of an iterative process, then correct it with the proper weights and all. But with that only we can correct it, these kind of exceptions. So the factually incorrect responses, it will be corrected with. Okay, so that is one of the issues, and another issue is incomplete responses. That means, say, I want to ask a certain thing, and I may be using only one phrase for that, and that is a kind of an incorrectness and or incompleteness. Okay, incompleteness leads to incorrect kind of predictions, and that is another kind of an exception. For that only, the possibilities, all possible ways to bring to the knowledge of the querying person is this, something like this. Like what, somebody is misguiding. So if someone is asking certain things, another person is saying a contradiction to these questions, what will happen? That's an ambiguousness. No. So for that, in order to get a correct answer, we will again and again, is it something like this? Is it something this place? Or is this is the way? All these kind of queries will be putting to that particular person if this sort of incorrectness or incompleteness might be happening. So this is kind of a incomplete responses. Then biasing. So to make you in trouble, somebody will do all these kind of things, and these are all some of the issues might be happening, and which is considered to be exceptions, and that to be correctly managed with or tackled with. And in the case of logical prompt design, that means logically, so the best practice, that means we need to define the output format correctly, then test the prompt correctly, then a role of neutrality, that means unbiased kind of thing, and we need to give an unbiased answer for, and how to make that unbiasing answers, and we need to make clear that all the situation must be in that particular way only. And with respect to who is asking the question or who is prompting it, and the model need to know the exact audience through which who is asking, and everything should be included in that LLM model for the prediction. Okay, and these are all the major skills required. As I mentioned, the language must be clear and communication must be clear, and it need a creativity, and then critical thinking, then the subject expertise or expertise might be there. All these things, even if whatever the IQ level we are having, a person is asking, the language must be clear. Okay, and the communication must be clear to that, and it need if somebody is drawing certain picture, the creativity must be clear for that particular thing, and thought process must be clear, and subject is to be. These are all the skills which is required for the persons who are involving in the creation of this kind of things, and through our Gen AI, and in the case of our prompt engineering. So, so for our AI community, that means as a part of our concluding regards for this particular thing, foundation of our prompt engineering might be. That means foundation. That means the communication must be, or the bridging must be crystal clear. That means the humans are using this particular thing, and humans uses the AI capacities. Okay, so that bridging must be clear with all these facts together, and we can then we can will be getting all these kind of things get it done, and it required various other logical structures and refinement of various other situation, and with respect to various other kind of an activity are pretty good clear, and evaluate the answers we will be getting through the LLMs. The creator of this particular prompt engineering need to make all these things crystal clear. So the audience of this particular prompt engineering must be might not have any kind of expertise on what is happening in the background process, but for the creator, what they need to do is with us keeping all this thing together with, then only they need to prompt for, that means a reverse prompt for the situation, and avoid the falsies, logical errors, ambiguousness, and it is pretty good over there, and that is considered to be the prompt engineering. And that is the till now we discussed about the logical facts about the prompt engineering, and here some of the techniques with which we are going to that means it is needed to it is creating the prompt engineering. There are 12 major techniques to create this particular this thing, prompt engineering are mentioned here. So as a whole, we will be having this particular thing. Then it is again divided into the reasoning part and some kind of a the analysis part. So the reasoning part comprises with least to most, self-ask, meta-prompt, chain of thought, then react, not react, react. And with respect to that, it is creating with the symbolic reasoning, PAL, iterative prompting, sequential prompting, self-consistency, automatic reason, and it is considered to be the generated knowledge. Okay, and this also that this is the thing, the 12 different techniques what we are using in the creation of our the Gen AI, that is this thing. Okay, this is about our the logical aspects of our Gen AI, and not Gen AI, prompt engineering. And in the case of our prompt engineering, it do have also some sort of a physical aspects. The physical aspects are something like the various tools which is using it in our the prompt engineering for or the applications which what is using it in our prompt engineering. Do you know what exactly what are the tools basically use it in our prompt engineering kind of thing? So basic tools might be using in our prompt engineering thing. Do anybody use that particular thing? So major applications. I think there is a kind of an error which might have happened. Anyway, I'll tell you in quick, and let us finish off this particular session. And the major application what we are doing, we are having in the case of our this is the major thing is all about the chatbots like ChatGPT, then virtual assistants like Alexa or Siri, tools like thing, and which is considered to be the major tool. Then we do have the code generations tools like LLM tool like Codebox or boilerplate code or all these things are there to generate our applications. Then to create contents in our the chat content through the prompt engineering, the tools like Copy AI. I think you might have heard about. Then, in order to make blogs or craft blogs or copies and all these kind of things, we'll be using that, or Jasper like tools are using. These are all these tools are made to use for creation of documents or documentation or textbooks, all these kind of things, or quizzes, all these kind of things are used through this kind of thing. Then the recommendation, that means the recommendation for anything, any tool or anything or something like that. The e-commerce chatbots are there, something like that. One of the if you might have open a bank's e-commerce site, one bot will be coming, may I help you, all these kind of things. And that is a kind of a personalized recommended tools for certain other options of operations, and that is considered to be the prompt engineered physical tool that also be there in our healthcare. Then it do have these kind of tools in training and education, etc. Okay, various tutor assistants, all these things, and legal aids or financial aids. And for that also these kind of chatbot applications are there. Then in the case of our the field of research, the research comprises with whether our research is that means written artifacts are correct or wrong. Maybe it will be checking for plagiarism and all these kind of things. And there are also these kind of chatbots or prompt engineerings are working with. Then for the customer management, these kind of things, this kind of tools are using. Uh, okay, and what do you think from last 1.5 hours? What do you think major challenges might be happening? The major challenges happening in the case of our prompt engineering as one major challenge is lack of predicting the things. So it do have various other diversification and predicting the things. That means it may happen ambiguousness. Then even though lot many other models we know, this guy, that is the Gen AI or the prompt engineering tool, might not be knowing all these kind of things, and that is also the major challenge. One of the complex challenges is biasing. And these are one of the major challenges or issues might be happening in our this kind of prompt engineering. Okay, and using these tools, one need to explore all these kind of AI tools or prompt engineering tools to familiarize with OpenAI, Azure, or use AI playgrounds to test and refine the prompts in the real-time environment, all these things. And with only one tool, with only chat gpt, what is prompting and how the things are happening, we must have to know. We need to explore to its horizon, and we need to get all the things acquainted with. Okay, with this notes, I'm just concluding today's session, and hope you got an insight on what exactly this particular prompt engineering is, and you got a certain other idea on how the tools and how the prompt engineering is working with, along with the artificial intelligence and Gen AI is having, and you got a 1% insight on that particular, not more than that. I believe with this short session, we may not get these things. Anyway, I can ignited something in you, or I injected one ppm to you, part per million kind of thing to you about this particular thing. That is what my belief is. And so my research and my things are going on in this particular area of our basically I'm working on the deep learning models, and so that is my passion, and I'm working on that particular thing. And also the security kind of things. So this is all about, and thank you for given me a chance to interact with you, share the limited knowledge what I acquired with you people. And thank you for the opportunity given by the college authorities and Pennsylvania Solutions. Okay, and be passionate enough to gather all this information till now, and I'm very much grateful for those who are or into this room patiently gathered, and this particular small talk on this particular thing. So anybody who's having any queries or any kind of a clarification which is required so far, and with my limited knowledge, I can give you certain, that means if you queried, or if you do have any clarification or queries on this particular thing. So if it is not there, shall we wind up? And thank you for the session, and thank you for this wonderful evening spending with you people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for making this session excellently. And I would like to thank all the participants. All the participants are asked to do the today's feedback form given in the chat window.